Hello again, everybody. I thought I'd do a video tonight, just talking about post-hibernation and what will happen as your ants wake up. Um, and what won't happen is that they won't immediately wake up as a colony, and you won't be back to the colony that you had pre-hibernation, a full active colony, for possibly 1 or 2 months after they come out of hibernation. As I've said before in some of my previous videos, one of the very important skills to try and develop as an ant keeper is the ability to read your colony and follow the signals that you can see and let that inform you about what they're up to. So what I wanted to do is just show you my colony and how it is at the moment. And I could tell things about the colony just from looking in the Outworld. So do you remember the apple from when I put the apple in, from when I took them out of hibernation? These were pictures from my first video and them going mad for the apple. This is the apple that's in there at the moment. It's actually quite a fresh apple. It was put in this morning. You can see the ants that are not on the apple. Here's some sugar that was also put in this morning, a little bit of maple syrup. I've swapped the apple and the maple syrup over in the two outworlds just to encourage them to move about. As you can see, they're chucking little bits of dirt and cotton wool and stuff in there just to sort of cover it over because they're not really eating it. The activity around the Outworld, the number of workers that I've got that aren't on the food sources is minimal. There's hardly any at all. And what this tells me is that the larvae aren't awake yet. It's the larvae that drive a colony more than anything else. If the larvae aren't demanding, if they're not demanding food and if they're not growing, the workers basically just do nothing, just sit around and wait for the larvae to start demanding. So you can tell from this activity that the larvae aren't demanding at the moment. One little interesting thing, talking about workers sitting around doing nothing, is this is the tube just before the small outworld. They have to run round the tube to get into the small outworld, and that's where the apple is at the moment, which they're not eating. This is the sort of workers that are just sitting in the tube waiting at the moment. They're just, I don't know, waiting near the apple in case they're needed. I have put some protein in. I gave them a little bit of cooked beef, and I dropped a fly in that had been in a pot in the freezer. It was caught last year, so it's been in there all winter in the freezer. The beef they picked at a bit, the fly disappeared, so they have taken some protein. But they weren't that interested. They didn't go mental for it. There's a graveyard. You get this every year. These are the ants that unfortunately have died through hibernation. They tend to bring them all out as soon as you warm them up. So this is the losses through hibernation, which isn't that bad actually for a colony this size. So I'm not worried about that. So yes, then I opened up the nest and had a look inside the nest to confirm what I thought I was seeing from the outworlds, and indeed there is no pupa. I could find no pupa in the nest. There's just larvae everywhere still. Pupa will be your first sign. That will be the first thing that you see that will tell you that your ants are fully waking up, and that's the first step that you normally see. The workers, as you can see here, are absolutely stuffed to the max. Their gasters are expanded as far as they could possibly be. So I know that the colony's not hungry, it's not desperate for sugar, and that's why they're not demanding sugar in the outworld, because they've stuffed the nursery workers up to capacity, and the larvae, aren't asking for any food yet. There are a few little signs. I can see some signs in here with some large larvae that they're sort of cleaning aggressively. They do this sort of aggressive clean. I'm not sure whether it's just cleaning or whether it's I'm not sure whether it's the workers that tell the larvae it's time to pupate, or the larvae that gives off a signal that tells the workers it's ready to pupate and they start cleaning it as a result. But you often see this type of behaviour with workers constantly at the big larvae like this just before they pupate. So I think this will be a pupa in the next few days, but we'll see. I found the queen. She's still okay. Everything's fine. She's in a chamber with the small larvae, but I couldn't find any eggs, so she hasn't laid any eggs yet. eggs will be the last thing that will happen. That's what normally takes the longest. And like I said, I had a couple of years ago when I was making videos where one of my queens didn't start laying eggs again for about 2 months, and I was actually getting quite concerned, but she did in the end. And then finally, I know people might wonder, yes, the Flavus are awake. They're even less active than the Niger. I have given them bits of sugar in their Outworld, but I've seen 4 of them out one morning, but most of the time I don't see any of them out in the Outworld, and the sugar's hardly getting touched. But I know they know about it, so they must be full as well. And all I can see in there is larvae as well at the moment. I had this funny little bit of video. You see the ant taking a little piggyback on the queen in this video. It's just quite funny. It doesn't seem to be able to get off, or I don't know, just thinks, oh, here I'm riding around on the queen. Anyway, that's just a little chat about post-hibernation, what to expect, the signs to look out for, and how your colony will wake up in stages. Thank you for watching, everybody. Until next time, goodbye.